Welcome to another week of Capital City News. Thanks for continuing to take care and stay well. Although most of Utah has moved from an orange moderate risk category to a yellow low risk category, Salt Lake City is not out of the clear. We're in the orange phase, which means use caution when out by wearing face coverings, using social distancing, and proper hygiene. On this week's episode of Capital City News, we hear from Salt Lake City Council Chair Chris Wharton about the city's budget process and COVID-19. And our History Minute is about the Judge Mercy Hospital and the 1918 flu pandemic. Let's get started with our legislative update and look back.
At its May 12th meeting, the City Council heard an update from the Mayor's office about efforts to reach communities in Salt Lake hit hard by COVID-19. And discussed various aspects of the recommended budget. To learn more, visit slc.gov/council.
Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall presented her fiscal year 2020 to 2021 budget to the Salt Lake City Council. Traditionally, the budget has been presented in person, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Mayor Mendenhall presented her speech in a video format. The mayor proposed a balanced budget that retains current staffing levels while focusing on critical city services, functions, and priorities.
Thanks to the thousands of incredible city employees, the Salt Lake City Council, department and division directors, and my administration, we are in a stable place. It is a fortunate position to be in, and I'm optimistic that Salt Lake City will be able to continue that prudence as we weather this storm. This budget ensures we will continue to provide the high level of service our residents have come to expect and the jobs upon which our devoted employees rely on. While we're being pragmatic and judicious, this current crisis has not deterred us from big, bold ideas, and this budget still has plenty of them. The most important of which is making Salt Lake City a more equitable place for all.
To learn more about the budget, share your priorities and feedback, visit slc.gov/council/budget. The Salt Lake City budget process is underway, and adjustments are in the works to address the COVID-19 pandemic. Salt Lake City Council Chair Chris Wharton talks about the impacts to the budget, what the process entails, and how to get involved and weigh in.
I'm Chris Wharton, and I am the council member for District 3, and also serving this year as the chair of the City Council.
So we're just about to embark on the budget process. Could you walk us through what that's like and what that entails for constituents who may not know?
The administration starts preparing their budget internally on their side in around March. They start preparing. Then all of those budgets are submitted to the mayor. The mayor goes through and prepares a comprehensive city budget with all of the different departments. And that includes everything from our airports to police and fire to our own HR department and everything in between, the justice court. Then the mayor makes adjustments to that budget based on her priorities for the city. And once she has made her adjustments and it's been looked over by our finance department, she prepares a recommended budget, which is pretty thick. It's about that thick, and sends it over to the city council office. And then it is then the city council, our staff through our city council policy analysts go through the budget as well. And then we start holding budget hearings, and then the city council looks at each departmental budget, and then the city council can make adjustments to that budget as well. And then finally, the city council will adopt by ordinance the budget for that year, along with any changes that the city council makes. I think people can expect, residents can expect to see a lot of alignment between the mayor's budget priorities and the council's budget priorities, especially for 2020, 2021. You're going to see a lot of continued investment in community building, and that includes more housing, affordable housing. You're going to see more investment in transportation, public transit, and active transportation like pedestrians, bikes, other forms of transportation like that, making sure we have complete streets. You're going to see a continued focus on safety, public safety, with making sure our police and fire are well funded. And you're going to see what you've seen in the past couple years, which is significantly more investment in infrastructure, repairing our streets and roads, repairing city buildings and facilities, replenishing our fleet, things like that.
We're in an unprecedented time right now with the pandemic going on. What unique challenges does that pose on not only passing the budget and the physical logistics of you all getting together to discuss it, but also what that means for the fiscal health of the city?
We've luckily been able to move through the budget process pretty normally in terms of a timeline. The city, I think, fiscally is going to be very healthy. The mayor is proposing a flat budget, which means no increases in any department, but also no decreases as well. So we're really fortunate to see that in spite of the dip that you're going to see in sales tax, and in spite of the health of the economy overall, the city was able to maintain most of our income. We have had to supplement that in some areas with one-time revenue streams to get us through this emergency. That's not something that you want to do on an ongoing basis, but it certainly is a tool that's available to us to ensure that we don't have to do any layoffs. We don't have to do any salary decreases or anything like that, which I'm really proud of, and I'm hoping that the council will be able to adopt the mayor's budget without having to do any of that as well.
For residents who want to participate in the budget process, to give the city council feedback, or just to learn more about how it's going, where can people find out where they can get into those meetings, and where can people go to just get more information about the budget generally?
There's a lot of resources on the city's website, slcgov.com, and even more resources on the council specific side at slccouncil.com. And their residents can see an overview of the budget. They can download, if they want, their own copy of the mayor's recommended budget book. They can also engage with council members individually by contacting their respective council member for their district. And they can also contact all of the council members at once by emailing council.comments@slcgov.com. They, of course, can watch the meetings as well on the slccouncil.com page. They can download the agendas. You don't have to watch the meeting in real time. You can, it's recorded, so you can watch it at your convenience. And of course, people can tune in to watch our meetings on SLC TV.
If you're planning to head out, be sure to protect yourself and others by following some of these simple guidelines. The first is to wear face coverings or masks whenever possible. If you don't have a mask, be sure to contact the state because they're offering a free mask to every Utahn by visiting coronavirus.utah.gov/mask. And next, be sure to physical distance. 6 feet of distance is still in place as you're out and about with others that you're not quarantining with. This includes gathering in large groups. And last, if you're sick, you're not feeling well, be sure to get tested and stay home. You can call 1-800-456-7707 to get tested. Free COVID-19 testing opportunities are available in Salt Lake City. Next up, we have Utah House Representative Angela Romero sharing details on a community partnership to address COVID-19 in heavily impacted areas of Salt Lake City's Westside.
My name is Angela Romero, and I work for the Division of Youth and Family Programs. I'm our Community Programs Manager, so I am in charge of all our community outreach. I wear another hat as I serve in the Utah State Legislature. I represent House District 26, which is the west side and east side of Salt Lake City. And I'm also the assistant whip for the House Democrats, and I live in Glendale.
Right now, we're seeing a lot of stats, especially coming out through the Utah Department of Health, about the rates of COVID cases throughout the states. I mean, every day we're getting new numbers, and a lot of that increase is showing right here in Salt Lake County as compared to the rest of the state. Can you talk to me a little bit about some of the ways that partnerships have been created and what type of things, you as a leader and many others in the community are doing together to address these impacts?
The COVID Community Partnership is the brainchild of Senator Luz Escamilla. She was the actual only member in the Utah State Legislature to test positive for COVID-19 as of yet. I don't know what could happen in the future. And so she really wanted to do something about it. So she approached me and a couple of our colleagues and asked us to help her get some appropriation funding through the CARES Act and all the emergency funding we were getting from the federal government, and dedicate that funding to community workers. And so the testing piece of our project under the COVID Community Partnership is just one portion of that. So this is a partnership not only between the Utah State Legislature, we have the support of our Salt Lake City Mayor, Mayor Mendenhall, we have the support of our Salt Lake County Mayor, Mayor Wilson, and our state and our county health department are working closely together to make sure we flatten that curve, and particularly wanted to outreach to communities who might be disenfranchised, whether it's a language barrier, whether it's an economic barrier. We wanted to make sure that we were going to bring resources to them. So that's why we're working with these community health workers. We did a large event at the Utah State Fairground. We were able to test 352 people. But we'll be doing smaller events. And the most important thing is we're going to be collecting data. So we want to have hard numbers to find out who's being impacted by this.
Where can people go to get more information, to stay in the loop about, number one, free testing, but also these events and just getting general information as they need it?
We have some upcoming events in the future. We'll host them throughout the city. We'll host them throughout the county. And then we'll be moving across the state into other counties. Our whole goal is to flatten that curve and to ensure that we're protecting ourselves and our loved ones in the community.
And now it's time for History Minute.
When John Judge passed away in 1892 from miner's consumption, he left his wife, Mary, considerable wealth from his investments in the Silver King mine. Mary became a philanthropist with much of the money, and one of the largest efforts she undertook was the creation of the John Judge Mercy Home, a hospital to benefit Catholic miners hit hard by black lung. On a plot of land she owned on 10th East between 6th and 7th South, the hospital became a reality and began operation by the Sisters of Mercy in the spring of 1910, just a year after Mary Judge passed away herself. Few miners took advantage of the hospital, and it closed in 1915. It lay dormant until the need arose in 1918 for a hospital to combat the influenza pandemic. The Red Cross refitted the hospital quickly, and it was used to isolate flu patients across the city. The other hospitals were told to reject those with flu symptoms so they could be contained in one place in an effort to combat the spread of the virus. After its vital part in combating the pandemic, the hospital underwent another transformation in 1920 and became the Judge Memorial Catholic School, and it stands to this day in that function.
If you're looking for ways to help during this pandemic, Salt Lake City is accepting face mask donations at 14 different fire station locations throughout the city. The city is collecting, washing, and distributing masks to first responders, essential workers, as well as vulnerable populations. To learn more, visit slc.gov/mayor/mask. That's it for this episode of Capital City News. Thanks for joining us. Tune in next time to stay up to date on all the latest. For SLC TV, I'm Poonam Kumar.